Listening to your video set. That's what real good surgery lives here.
This
It's the final closing. TimeFactor. Video conference dogs. It's Wednesday for season finale. Episode continues. Right here on my final closing TimeFactor video commentary thoughts for Wednesday, April the 29th, 2015. And you heard all those riots going on in Baltimore because these tensions in Baltimore stages a huge police presence trying to embrace the further violence of with some I bet it's some 2000 National Guard troops from Maryland and another 1,000 police officers are on duty throughout the city and those who called surrounding areas as officials try to work to prevent all the second sights of this night of rioting. This is going to be worse. This is going to be worse. This is going to be worse. And you might think it's so smart about the liberal media. Yeah, the liberal media bias pressure people, buffoons, have incidents of rioting. This is going to be worse. Seriously, pointing the fingers at each other. And why? Because I bet it won't. I'll tell you one thing is, it doesn't even make sense at all. Period. Because the media didn't fan the flames. I know where they're up to. Howard Kurtz wrote this piece inside Fox News because the mayor of Baltimore, that Stephanie Rawlings Blake, has insulted our intelligence by blaming the liberal media bias pressure people buffoons for reporting the inexplicable remarks on how to deal with this kind of rioters. The blame is on you, liberal media bias pressure people. It's all your fault. That's right, it's all your darn fault. So I bet the city council president, Bernard Young, has ludicrously complained about the heartbroken and disturbancy of the way that the liberal media, mainstream media that is focusing on the negativity of this city, that is Baltimore. It's burning. You know, burning down houses, breaking in stores like CVS Pharmacy, and punching, cutting fire hose at a time like this. Everybody says there's no evidence. The cable news goes wall to wall with scenes with looting and the flames of destruction. Yeah, you don't believe it. You're on the eve of destruction. I know, 60s music. Because last Monday night, there are questions to be examined about this coverage about Freddie Gray's death. And it's triggering the rioting. And the aftermath is this. It's all the journalist's fault. Yeah, like CNN, liberal, like CNN, MSNBC, NBC, CBS, ABC, the New York Times, Media Matters, all that crap. And what I get in return? Oh, no evidence. The pressure on, and the blame is on the cameras. It's pressuring the implementation of this whole situation, trying to, where violence or interrupt the multiple locations from downtown to Western neighborhoods. And what would go wrong? It is there because one of the dumbest political remarks ever was made. Yeah, that's right. Rawlings Blake has spoken before the riots, and why quote this. It's very delicate and balancing act because why we try to make sure that they were protected from the cars and the other things were going on, and were those also gave those who wished to destroy this space to do as well. Destroy it. Pathetic. How much longer destroy space to destroy? How you crazy? Your words is You, Stephanie, your words has nothing to do with it. Period. Your words has nothing to do with it. And no, I give you one good reason why. Because your choice of words are terrible. That means you lashed out the liberal media bias people for your stupid idiotic comments. Huh. Ain't that a trip? Take for instance, Anderson Cooper. Yes, Anderson Cooper. Yeah, 360. From CNN Liberal. So the whole viewers, I'm not so sure what he thinks. Oh yeah, you're not so sure, huh? That your cameras will be focused at one time, and that's why the cars has been destroyed, lit on fire, throwing rocks at a time like this. And what about President Obama? It says, as a commander in chief, I will do as I take, do what it takes to stop this all right. You said this last Tuesday that one burning building would be looked on television over and over. Ugh, over and over. What does that leave you? What does that leave you? And what do you have to say for yourself, Mr. President? The Baltimore City was ablaze, and you don't know it anywhere, Mr. President. You buffoon. But guess what? Guess what? This is not a case of two innocent people are being unfairly magnified by those no good for nothing rating hungry producers for this one. And while all the fussing and fighting of this whole incident about, yeah, that's right, the mainstream liberal media bias pressure people buffoons. So it's first of all that no good for nothing, yeah, pathetic lawyer Stephanie, Mayor Stephanie Rawlings Blake said before the whole riots about this protesters, the right to free speech. It is a free speech, and fair enough. And this is what happens. And you call this a balancing act? Give me a break. Give me a break. That city was on the edge because yesterday, the day of Gray's funeral, he died last week. A week after he was being arrested, suffered a kind of spinal cord injury while police custody, and the Baltimore police were admitted that the officers are being failed to give Gray timely medical care or to buckle him up to the police van, transporting him, and there is no charges have been brought up. Up with this. What about, yeah, MSNBC are heavily, you try to focus on this one. Fox News didn't have a reporter in Baltimore. MSNBC and CNN, the liberal buffoons, are focused on the White House correspondent. You don't you guess what? What about Don Lemon? Yeah, interviewed a top officials in Baltimore last Monday night. What about Baltimore Sun TV critic David Zurak wrote this? I have to note that the irony of Lemon pressing governor. Yes, David Zurich. Yes, this guy wrote this piece. Wrote this. I have to note that the irony of Lemon is pressing Governor Larry Hogan, while National Guard and state police were only coming in Monday night, and there is so much chaos last Saturday. So let me ask this question, CNN Liberal, you too, MSNBC, and the rest of your liberal media bias pressure people buffoons. Let me ask this question. Why all of you covering this, why you covering this Baltimore violent stuff at all last Saturday night? And there is so much chaos. And give me one good reason why. One good reason why. I'll tell you why. It's a shame that all of you liberal media bias pressure people, buffoons, took the violence last Monday night and fully concentrated. And the media was paying attention to Freddie Gray's death. Shame on you. Those thugs and looters and criminals are being destroyed of the city as the television cameras were rolling. And you might think it's so smart about this. Give me a break. Here's a lesson from all of you. You need to get those idiotic liberal media bias pressure people out of here, because we as conservatives can trash you. If you don't want to hear a word I just said, then we as conservatives can get rid of you. Honest to God, there is no equal to this whole incident in Baltimore. Does this on purpose. End of story. And if I hear those no good nothing reporters from CNN, The Liberal, and others worried about Baltimore, guess what? I'm going to turn it off and see who has the last laugh. End of story. And we're going to find out all this, the rest of the story goes. Well, I'm surprised that NPR wrote, get this story. Shut up. Like I said yesterday, you need to wake up, America. It's time to get started. It's time to get cracking. It's time to get serious about this. That you liberal media bias pressure people need reality check. Real bad. And I'm ashamed of you. Thank you, Howard Kurtz, who wrote this story. Proud of it. Don't forget to Facebook and follow LH Music, Facebook.com and Twitter.com. You know my username, LH Music Time. So it's time for their website. And I gotta do something with those polls, with a new poll from my friends at Soda Head. And I will post it tomorrow. Later on today, whatever it is. On my final closing TimeFactor video cover thoughts from YouTube.com. As well as my TimeFactor website as well. So like I said, lhmusictimefactor.jimdo.com, so it's TimeFactor page on Facebook as well. We cover more stories and just because if tomorrow comes, the big season finale, yes, comes to an end. And there will be no riots at all. Period. In the story. Anyway, see you tomorrow for the big season finale. It is all good. From youtube.com/LHMusic1. Don't forget the weekend starts here for the big season finale of Time Factor Weekend. LH Music is about to sign up, go God's blessings. And I salute you, America. Take care. See ya. Have a good night.